This is the Rumble. Good afternoon. Hello. Wait, why is this not working? Oh, hold on a second. Well, it's picking me up on this, so I'll fix that here in a minute. But good afternoon. Hello. Welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I am A.O. Xander. We will be joined by the Golden Loon here shortly. And you, thank you so much for coming in and watching us. Today is Moonsday, aka Monday, February 16th, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with in the year 374. We have the 9th perihelion passage of Halley's Comet, the perihelion, of course, being the closest approach it is to our sun. Moving on up to 600, Pope Gregory the Great decrees saying, "God bless you" is the correct response to a sneeze. 1249, Andrew of Longjumeau was dispatched by King Louis the Ninth of France as his ambassador to meet with the Khan, the Kagan of the Mongols, the Mongol Empire. 1349, Jews were expelled from Bergdorf, Switzerland, accused of spreading the bubonic plague. That's not too nice. Like, this is, like, they were accused on multiple occasions, so, here we go again. Like, every day there's something that we cover about something happening to the Jews, and I just wonder why they keep getting their teeth kicked in. 1641, English King Charles I accepted Triennial Act requiring that Parliament meet for at least a 50-day session once every 3 years. That's very lenient right there. 1646, Battle of Great Torrington in Devon, the last major battle of the First English Civil War, occurred. 1659, first known cheque written for £400, now on display at Westminster Abbey, and that's what this photo is. It's the first cheque ever cashed. 1699, first Leopoldine diploma issued by the Holy Roman Emperor, recognizing the Greek Catholic clergy enjoyed the same privileges as Roman Catholic priests in the Principality of Transylvania. All right. 1741, Benjamin Franklin began publishing the General Magazine and Historical Chronicle for all the British plantations in America. And here's a photo of that. And we are being joined by...
Hey, the Golden Loon. I just heard the great Benjamin Franklin's name mentioned.
Yes. The Benjamin Franklin here in 1741, he began publishing the General Magazine and Historical Chronicle for all the British plantations in America.
Wow.
Yeah. And you missed one earlier. I'm just going to reread this one. This was interesting. 600, Pope Gregory the Great decreed saying, "God bless you" is the correct response to a sneeze.
Ah.
So, if you ever wondered, when and where, now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I do this show. Why we do this show, 1760, Native American hostages were killed in Fort Prince George, South Carolina. Yikes. 1771, French astronomer Charles Messier presented his original list of 45 M objects to the French Academy. 1777, French astronomer Charles Messier as well added M53 to his catalog. Globular cluster in Coma Berenice. Okay.
What the hell?
A globular cluster is just a space thing. Let me bring this up here really quick. Globular layer cluster, just to show you an image. That's you see that?
Okay, yeah.
It's like
a glob.
It's a globular cluster of stars
yeah.
and things. So that's
kind of cool.
Yeah, M53 is such a thing. 1796, Colombo in Ceylon, which is now Sri Lanka, fell to the British, completing their invasion of Ceylon. Yeah. Moving on up to the 1800s now, 1804, U.S. Navy Lieutenant Stephen Decatur raided Tripoli Harbor and burned a Navy frigate Philadelphia after it was seized by pirates. So pirates somehow got a U.S. warship, and then we burned it, probably with the pirates still on it, So, 1838, Kentucky passes a law permitting women to attend school under conditions. Well, at least they're letting them in the doors.
Yeah,
that's
something. Yeah.
See, so many people, as soon as you give the mouse a cookie, they want the milk. No, enjoy the cookie, be appreciative of what you have, not what you're trying to get. So that's a lesson I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, but still try to strive forward.
Absolutely, but, don't sit there and, completely ignore what you've gotten.
You don't have.
Yeah,
No, I agree with that.
1840, U.S. citizen Charles, or I guess Stadian, Charles Wilkes, discovered the Shackleton Ice Shelf in Antarctica. We have not a photo, but an artist's rendition of that. So, and there's a flag up on that mound over there. Almost looks Japanese, so I'm not sure. 1852, Studebaker Brothers Wagon Company was established, the precursor of the automobile manufacturer. And here we go, Studebaker on the side of the wagon. So,
They used to, the slang was stewed
ah,
for Studebaker, the car.
yeah. Well, like, you know, I wouldn't imagine it meant astute, you know. 1857, Gallaudet College, National Deaf Mute College, formed in Washington D.C. All right, so college for the like visibly auditory disabled and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's good. 1859, the French government passed a law to set the A note above middle C to a frequency of 435 hertz in an attempt to standardize the pitch. That's an interesting thing for the government to get involved in. At the same time, there's all this stuff involving, like, the hertz, the frequencies, of our radios and everything, and it's some kind of frequency that like instills nervousness, negative feelings and all that stuff, and it's all a ploy to get people to be a lot more controllable. 1861, Abraham Lincoln stopped his train at Westfield on his way to Washington to thank 11-year-old Grace Bendel in person for her advice to grow a beard to gain more votes. Yeah, she had written him.
Yeah?
So here's a statue. So he
Never
actually,
heard of that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I thought he wrote her back, but he actually met her face to face and thanked her. That's awesome.
And it got him more votes, did it?
Yeah, apparently.
It worked.
Yeah. No, she wrote to him to grow a beard, and then he did,
and it worked.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
That is great.
Man, could you imagine being an 11-year-old and a girl back at that time,
Yeah.
And then then the president comes and thanks you personally? That is remarkable. 1862, Fort Donelson was captured by General Ulysses S. Grant following the surrender of around 12,000 Confederate soldiers. This was out in Tennessee. 1868, Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks organized and formed in New York City. Like a bunch of reindeer or something, Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks.
Little people. Only elves aren't people.
Elka.
Oh, elk.
Ka, the animal, not elves.
I couldn't place what an elf was.
Elka.
What an elf was doing in there. Okay, that
Well,
makes sense.
Well, I was gonna say, where the hell do you get elves when I say reindeer, but then the Santa Claus thing, and I'm
I
like,
know,
okay.
that's why I tried to connect it, but it didn't work.
We're confusing each other here. 1880, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers forms in New York City. 1881, the Canadian Pacific Railway was incorporated by an act of Parliament in Ottawa, 44th Vic CL, whatever that is. 1887, first newspaper convention held in Rochester, New York. I didn't know that newspapers had conventions and all that stuff, but I guess they had to.
Everybody has a convention.
Yeah. 1896, the first U.S. newspaper comic strip, Richard Felton's Odeklot's Yellow Kid, was published in William Randolph Hearst's New York Journal. I saw.
Ever heard of that?
I have not. Well, I know about William Randolph Hearst, and I was
course.
just seeing. I saw a whole video on Hearst Castle last night, about his empire and 20 some odd years of constant construction until he can no longer afford it, and all that
We
stuff.
never got you up to Hearst Castle.
Yes, we did.
Did it get you up there?
We've been up there.
Oh, I know I have been. I didn't
no.
remember if you were the same.
I was up there once, and we took some tour. I remember, we saw a couple of the pools.
Yeah.
But I remember
we toured
there's
the
like
whole
3
thing.
or 4 tours, and we only
Yeah.
had the
We
time to
did-
do one or something.
We didn't go with a guide.
Ah.
We went with tapes, I think.
I think those were before tapes, or maybe I'm not sure.
I don't know. No, probably the last time I was there was with you.
Yeah, I don't remember really much, other than seeing the pools and whatnot and being there. But I was up there. I wouldn't mind going again if it's not expensive, So.
You got to be wanting to go there. There's nothing else around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am a historian. I do enjoy learning things like this.
I'm surprised when we made that coast trip. I'm surprised we didn't put that in our must-do. Stopping there. Maybe
Well,
that's when we did.
No, we did this years ago.
You were little.
No,
Somewhat little.
I was little. I think Kim and Laura were there.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Anyway, but this first, this is the, I'm not sure if this is the exact first one, but this is the Yellow Kid.
Ah.
Which, now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if this is a caricature of Chinese. There's a lot of racial things going on, with that back in that time. So, 1899, future England cricket captain Pelham Warner scored an unbeaten 132 on his Test debut in a 32-run win over South Africa in the first Test in Johannesburg.
Yay!
Yeah, 1899. Knatsperfilion Reykjavík, Iceland's first football club, was founded.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 1899, President of France Felix Failure died in office, or fire, not failure. Failure to live.
How did he die? In a fire? Is that what you said?
No. Faure. I'm trying to pronounce his last name.
Oh.
It's Felix Faure or something.
Okay.
Fire.
Okay.
Faure.
Okay.
So, and that makes me wonder. Like, I wonder how many world leaders throughout history died in office, not doing an act of war or assassination or anything.
Natural causes.
Like, or. Well, I mean, like,
not assassinated.
Not assassinated. Not. But like, what was this? Like, Jackery Taylor or something, like one of our former presidents. He died in office after eating fermented cherries and drinking milk. Zachary Taylor,
Yeah,
I
Zachary
think.
Taylor, yeah.
Yeah. 1900, the first Chinese daily newspaper in U.S. published, the Chung Sai Yat Po in San Francisco. And see, like, that sounds cool, but like, right there. Why are they coming over here and they're not assimilating into our culture? If we go to China, there would be no way in hell that they allow us to start an English newspaper over there. So why the fuck do we give them what they won't give us? Come over here, assimilate to us, or fuck off, Like, even as far back as 1900, they're already doing this, they're segregating themselves. They're coming over here and then putting themselves in the pocket. Why? What's the point of coming here?
I don't have any answer with that, but I do agree with assimilation. That's the whole point.
No,
of coming here is to assimilate.
No, man, like, it doesn't matter if I go to China, if I go to Zimbabwe, if I go to freaking France, like, go to that culture. It doesn't matter what you are.
You go over where you're talking about, they won't allow you to assimilate, but you will be a foreigner forever.
Yeah, well, that's another level. Well, France will allow you to assimilate, but China will not because they're incredibly xenophobic. And this just enforces that. They're so xenophobic. They come over here. They reap the rewards of our society, but then they pocket themselves. That's horrible. 1900 as well, the Southern Cross Expedition, led by Karsten Borchgrevink, achieved a new farthest south of 78 degrees, 50 feet south, marking the first landing at the Great Ice Barrier. 1905, the first U.S. Esperanto Club organized in Boston. What's an Esperanto? Is that a horse or something? Like, Esperanto Club. Let me look this up here. Do you know, by chance, Loon?
I do not.
Oh. An Esperanto Club is of Esperanto speakers, or Esperantists, in contrast to national or international Esperanto organizations. An Esperanto Club usually limits its activities only to a certain city or region. Okay, so it's some kind of dialect?
They don't tell you anything right there. What you read did not explain anything.
The first Esperanto Club was founded in Nuremberg, yada yada yada. Characteristics: existence of a permanent meeting place, regularly in variety of activities, solid member base. So it's just a club.
It's a place to gather.
It's just some kind of club.
And you have to be a member.
Okay. 1909, the first subway car with side doors went into service in New York City, and this is a photo, I think, of something like it.
Yeah.
Side doors. So, it makes me wonder, like, were there subways before they had side doors, and how did they get in? Like, like boxcars existed; those have side doors. Like, actually, every train, like, to get on, like, any passenger car has a side door, right? Like,
no, not necessarily.
I mean, they have connector doors,
they have
but
doors that they'll open in, not out, and then you step up into them and go in.
Yeah.
Not all of them have slide.
No, this is a side, not a slide. SIDE.
Okay, well, I'm
so
connecting the slide and
no.
side
Well,
together.
they slide.
Well, you're not going to get it in the front. You're always going to get it on the side.
That's what I'm saying. Why is this the first subway car with side doors? They're almost as if insinuating that they had a subway car without side doors. How did you get on?
Through the roof?
Well, no, through the connector doors. If you're going from one car to another, you go out that way. But but to get on the actual train, you come out this way.
You have to get on the side of a car, a train, no matter what.
Yeah,
sooner or later.
It's weird.
It's the only place you're going to get on.
1915, Major League Baseball slugger Frank Home Run Baker, at the age of 28, announces his retirement following a contract dispute with Connie Mack. He sits out in the 1915 season. All right. primary source edited. So, 1916, the German ambassador in Washington announced that Germany will pay an indemnity for U.S. lives lost to the Lusitania. And that same day, the U.S. rejected the right of Germany and Austria-Hungary to sink armed merchant ships. Yeah, you can't just say, oh, whoopsie, we killed some of your people, here's a few $1,000s. No, fuck you. You killed a few thousand of our people. You keep it up, we're going to come over there and start killing you. What do you think of that, huh?
Wow.
Well, we did,
Yeah.
So, 1917, speaking of that, dude, could you imagine, the Germans, who invented mustard gas, or at least, the concept of chemical warfare and all that stuff, they tried to, whatever the officiates or they tried to make formal, they made a formal complaint against the United States for using trench guns, shotguns, saying that they were barbaric and they're too powerful and all that stuff. It's just you have a problem with us using trench guns, but you don't have a problem with you using mustard gas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, the arrogance of the Germans, I'm going off, about my whole rant right here, that what I just did. It's ridiculous. 1917, the first synagogue in 425 years opened in Madrid, Spain. Yeah, I remember there was something where, Spain kicked out their Jews and there were no Jews for a few hundred years or something like that.
400 apparently.
Well, probably 400, but this is at least for the synagogues.
Yeah, for the synagogue.
Places
there's
of
not
worship.
Many Jews around if there's no synagogue.
Nah. 1918, Lithuania declared independence from Russia and Germany. This is their national day for Lithuania. The Council of Lithuania unanimously adopted the Act of Independence, declaring Lithuania an independent state. All right. 23, Howard Carter opened the inner burial chamber of Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb and found the sarcophagus. Yeah, here's that, and here's a color edit of that photo right there. It's cool. 1925, rescuers finally reached the body of caver Floyd Collins, too late, 18 days after he became trapped in Sand Cave, Kentucky, bringing a tragic end to a story that had captured the nation. Cavers, I don't get it. There's this whole thing going on where, people are challenging themselves to squeeze into the tightest, spot while they're caving, there's places called, the devil's rectum or whatever, and it's this thing where you have to squeeze and you go around, you essentially, you are the toothpaste being, and people get stuck and then they die, Well, gee whiz, maybe don't do that, I don't know. 1 century ago, 1926, Suzanne Lincoln defeated U.S. champion Helen Wills in an influential tennis match in Cannes, France. 27, U.S. restored diplomatic relations with Turkey. 29, a mysterious murder, a suicide, Ned Donnelly Jr., son of oil magnate Edward L. Donnelly, died along with Secretary Hugh Plunkett at Greystone Mansion, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. Wow.
How'd they die?
Well, murder-suicide.
Oh, okay.
One of them killed the other and then removed themselves. So, 31, extreme right-wing politician Pierre Evan Svinhuvud became president of Finland. Now, this is where things get a little tricky. Because our source is leftist, I wonder, was he really even right-wing? Are they trying to alter history to push an agenda? Extreme right-wing politician,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything say extreme left wing or, bashing or not really bashing, but
for some reason they've chosen to label him with this political view.
Yeah,
it's not necessary in the moment.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of articles saying extreme right wing this, extreme conservative that, but very seldomly do I ever find anything even saying that they're liberal. And I've never once seen anything say extremist liberal. So.
Does anything say idiot? That would kind of define it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. 1932, the first patent for a tree issued to James Markham for a peach tree. So I guess patent for the genome or something.
Wait, we haven't had it's not invented, but whatever they did to make a peach tree.
Well, I mean, if you create, if you crossbreed something and you create something, you can get a patent on it. Not really necessarily a patent, but a copyright. So I guess maybe this was before,
So we didn't have
copyright.
peaches before that, is what I'm getting at.
Well, they had peaches, but whatever this specific
Maybe
peach
he
was,
had no fuzz peach or something.
I don't know. 1933, Catholic newspaper Germania warned against Nazis and communists. Should have listened to them.
Yeah.
Speaking of extreme far left radicals, 33, England cricket team regained the Ashes against Australia thanks to bodyline tactics.
Wonder what that is.
I have no idea. Cricket,
Yeah.
34, the Austrian Civil War ended with the defeat of the Social Democrats and the Republikanischer Schutzbund. All right. 34 as well, Commission of Government was sworn in as form of direct rule for the Dominican of Newfoundland. For the Dominion, not Dominican, Dominion of Newfoundland. 1936, the fourth Winter Olympic Games closed in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany. And we also have the Spanish Fuente Popular, the People's Front, won elections, the Spanish general election. And I wonder if this has anything to do with the Spanish Civil War. This is about that right time, So,
Well, it is the right time, yeah.
1937, DuPont Corps patented nylon, developed by employee Wallace H. Carthos. All right. Thank you. 1938,
So that's when they didn't have nylon stockings till 1927, 37, whatever that was.
where was it? 1937. Well, yeah.
Huh.
I guess not.
So after that, because I don't know how long.
Yeah.
What's nylon good for? I guess when you get right down to it. Why?
Stockings, pantyhose,
yeah, I know.
coffee filters.
They got to use nylon for something else. Nylon rope.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh. DuPont, though, that's a major company.
It's a weird thing to invent. Nylon. Hey, look what we got here. What the hell can we do with this?
Yeah. 1938, U.S. federal crop insurance program was authorized. Okay. 1940, British search plane found German supply ship Altmark used to accommodate Allied sailors from vessels sunk by the Graf Spee off Norway. The Altmark incident, the German tanker Altmark was boarded by sailors from the British destroyer HMS Cossack. 299 British prisoners were freed. We intercepted him. All right. 1942, Bangkok Island massacre. Japanese soldiers machine-gunned 22 Australian Army nurses and 60 Australian and British soldiers and crew members from 2 sunken ships. Only 1 nurse and 2 soldiers survived. You want to talk about xenophobia? You want to talk about the personification of evil? As a culture? Look anywhere in Asia. Like they hate each other, let alone anything else. 1942, World War II in Athens, the Greek People's Liberation Army was established. And we also have an attack on Aruba, the first World War II German shots fired on a land-based object in the Americas. So there is some action over here. So, 40, hold on a second, I'm missing the one there. 1943, World War II, the USSR reconquered Krakow. In the early phases of the Third Battle of Kharkov, Red Army troops re-entered the city.
Sure that doesn't say Kaka?
No, Kharkov. There's a whole game, Escape from... Oh, that's Tarkov. No, right. That's a different city, but still. 1945, Venezuela declared war on Nazi Germany. They took their sweet time. 1945, they're coming in near the end there. No. 45 as well, World War II, U.S. Navy 5th Fleet aircraft carriers and planes began a 2-day bombardment of airfields and aircraft plants near Tokyo and Japan. Over 500 Japanese aircraft were destroyed. Wow. They got screwed. 1945 as well, the Alaska Equal Rights Act of 1945, the first anti-discrimination law in the United States, was signed into law. That sounds more like liberal propaganda, to just shoehorn in something to push an agenda, because I really doubt we gave a fiddler's fuck about equal rights when the whole world's at war and killing each other.
Yeah.
I mean, really. But then again, what was it? Like Tabasco sauce or something was invented in the middle of the Civil War, I think. There's some salsa or some sauce, something. 1946, the first commercially designed helicopter was tested in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and here's a photo, I believe, of that. Look at that.
Hey, the view's great up here.
Just don't stand up.
I forgot my coat.
Well, no, I'm more concerned about, they're,
you stand up, you're going to be decapitated.
Yeah, easily, or at least lose the top half of your head, so I just wonder.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Go up and down. Hey, let's see if this thing flies.
Yeah, well, what's crazy is that, you look at this, okay,
No.
And this was all the way in 1946. Now, you remember the Batman series, right? Batman TV show helicopter. The Batcopter is very...
Batmobile?
No, the Batcopter.
Oh, yeah.
They had a helicopter. Look,
that's right. That's right.
But
they did.
it looks... I mean, it's a lot more advanced. But like, the tail, it's the same thing more or less. It's just like...
Well, it's got a frame, yeah.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
So, I always thought that was cool. 1948, Miranda, famous moon of Uranus, was photographed for the first time. 1950, the longest-running primetime game show, What's My Line, began on CBS.
Ended?
Began. In 1950 as well, writers failed to elect anyone to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And in 51, New York City passed a bill prohibiting racism in city assisted housing. That didn't stop anything, though. 1952, Ian Craig made a New South Wales cricket debut at the age of 16 years, 249 days, a New South Wales record. So probably not cricket record for all time, but still, that's pretty young to be representing a country, 1957, the Toddler's Truce, a controversial television close down between 6 and 7 p.m., was abolished in the UK. Probably because they didn't want.
What does that mean?
Probably because they didn't want kids to rot their brains on TV. So between 6 to 7, there was no programming. It was called the Toddler's Truce. So obviously, children were being used for something.
So the TV went dead, or there was no subject matter for toddlers?
A controversial television closed down between 6 and 7 p.m.,
Closed
meaning
down.
that
That's what
television
I
itself...
Yeah, okay, that's what I got out of it. Okay.
There is nothing.
Okay.
So...
Toddlers was
well,
fake of me, I guess.
Well, no, see, because it's in
That's
quotation.
the catchword.
It's in quotations, which insinuates the idea that this was passed because of...
To save toddlers.
Oh, think of the children, they're always hiding behind the children. 1959, Fidel Castro became the 16th Prime Minister of Cuba after overthrowing Fulgencio Batista. Yeah. Fulgencio. 1960, the U.S. nuclear submarine USS Triton set off on underwater round-world trip, setting sail from New London, Connecticut, to begin the first submerged circumnavigation of the globe.
Yeah.
So I think they stayed underwater the entire time.
Yes, they did.
To see if they could. 1961, China used its first nuclear reactor. That is very scary. 1961 as well, NASA's Explorer 9 was the first spacecraft placed in orbit by an all-solid rocket and the first spacecraft successfully launched into orbit from Wallops Island in Virginia. All right, and the primary source was edited, and it was Explorer 9 S56A. 1962, flooding in the coastal areas of West Germany killed 315 people and destroyed the homes of about 60,000 people in total. Not 60,000 homes, but the homes for 60,000 people.
Yeah.
But we also have, and this has to be related, the Great Sheffield Gale impacted the United Kingdom, killing 9, and the city of Sheffield was devastated with 150,000 homes damaged. 150,000 homes damaged. Not destroyed, but damaged and all that stuff. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
We have the first round-trip swim of the Strait of Messina in Italy, 1963, from Mary Revel of the U.S., so, the Strait of Messina back and forth. And, is that between, it has to be, between Italy and Sicily, Strait of Messina. Let's see here, image. Yes, it is. So, here you have...
Good call.
It's right there. You see that?
I knew of it, but couldn't have told you where it was.
Actually, let me bigger this really quick.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, but see, you see right there. That's the strait. It's the closest point.
Yeah.
Now, and I saw a video on it. It wouldn't be too wild, at least the distance to build a bridge. So why do you think that there's no bridge right there?
Well, that's deceiving. It might be a lot wider than you think.
No. It's not that wide.
Okay, so why?
Because turbulence, the water.
Oh.
It would destroy any bridge even today that we made. Because it's a very, you have all this water and it's traveling between. So you have all those torrential currents, which makes that swim even more astounding. So, 1963, philosopher Hannah Arendt's controversial account of the trial of Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann was first published in the New Yorker. 1965, Pegasus First was launched to detect micrometeors. Okay. 1967, New York Yankees pitcher Red Ruffing was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. In 68, the U.S.'s first 911 phone system went into service in Haleyville, Alabama. All right. 1968, Beatles, George Harrison, John Lennon, and their wives flew to India to study transcendental meditation with Mahesh Yogi. We spoke about that yesterday.
Yeah.
69, Andrei Rublev, a Russian film directed by Andrei Tarkovsky, starring Anthony Slojustein and Ivan Lapigov, premiered in Moscow after a limited release in 1966, so 3 years later. 69, Detroit Red Wings captain Alex Del Vecchio picked up an assist in a 6-2 defeat at Minnesota to become the third player in NHL history to score 1,000 career points. All right. 1972, U.S. guitar legend Chuck Berry and former Beatle John Lennon performed together with the screeching Chihuahua Yoko Ono on the Mike Douglas Show TV program. And I just gotta bring this up here. Like Yoko Ono. Oh no.
What's cool is Chuck Berry and her. I don't care about, but yeah, those two is cool.
Yeah. Oh, this has to be it right here.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna play this, and this is why I call her the screeching Chihuahua. That's her contribution.
Wow. Get her off the stage.
Yeah, she's nasty. In every conceivable way, she's just nasty.
Here's a bongo. Beat that, and then she has a screech.
Yeah. 19... and actually, I'm not going to play it again, but if you, watch that video, you can actually see Chuck Berry being like, what the hell is that?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that.
You know what?
No,
screw it. No. I want to get your reaction right now, actually. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let me... You see that? He's just like...
It's like kind of a what?
Yeah. You saw, he was still going back. You saw, he's like...
He did a double take.
Yeah.
And then the eyes pop wide.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. 1972, German mass murderers, 3 of Breda were freed. Why? 1972, Wilt Chamberlain of the LA Lakers became the first player in NBA history to reach the career 30,000 point mark during a 110-109 loss to the Phoenix Suns. Well, it might have lost, but he still got 30,000 points, so eat it. 73, West Indies versus Australia at Kingston. First time since 1955 without Garfield Sobers. It has to be cricket. 75, the 17th Daytona 500. Benny Parsons won after Cale Yarborough sent race leader David Pearson spinning on the backstretch. Parson avoided the accident and took the victory. 78, first computer bulletin board system, Ward and Randy CBBS in Chicago. All right. 1980, U.S. speed skater Eric Heiden won 5,000 meters, an Olympic record, 7 minutes and 2.29 seconds. The second of record 5 gold medal sweep of events at Lake Placid. Wow.
I was going to say he won a ton of gold medals.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. 1980, continuous traffic jam extended 176 kilometers north of Lyons, France. What the hell? And my stupid camera is being dumb, so...
matter with your camera.
Well, it likes to switch itself back on to autofocus, so actually I'm going to fix that right now. So pardon me. Don't worry about the black screen. I'm fixing something really quick. Hold on a second. Get rid of my autofocus. Apply. Sorry, Rumble people. I'm coming back. There we go. Yeah, a 176 kilometer continuous traffic jam. Is it? If I'm reading that right, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
1983, the Ash Wednesday bushfires in Victoria in South Australia claimed the lives of 75 people in one of Australia's worst ever fires. Yeah. So 1984, Bill Johnson became the first U.S. citizen to win an Olympic downhill skiing gold at the Sarajevo Games, beat Swiss Peter Muller by 0.27 seconds. Point.
Yeah.
20. That's barely, I don't even sure if you can, understand what a quarter of a second is, but just slightly after that.
Yeah.
And just anybody watching that quarter
but
of a second.
They get even closer than that.
Oh yeah.
Getting into the hundredths of a second.
Oh yeah. And we've had neck and neck. And there have been, a tie, straight up dead tie. So
Dead Heat, it's called.
Okay. 1984, Iran launched Operation Dawn 5, a major offensive during the Iran-Iraq War, targeting the Basra-Baghdad highway, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. 1985, the largest NBA crowd to date, 43,816 people, saw Philadelphia at Detroit. And I wonder what the record is today, you know? Like,
Well, that's... where's a venue where you can get 42,000 seats in?
true, and that reminds me. Hold on a second. Russian stadium, not enough seats. There's this incident. Here we go. Russian arena builds terrifying bleachers for extra because there was like some World Cup or something, and I'm not sure if they had to or they decided to build more seats. But they had already, finished building, the stadium and everything. So what they did was they just tore a hole open on this side here, and just add a whole bunch more seats. And you see that?
Good grief.
You can see where the stadium, they have the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they just added all this. And could you imagine being all the way up there? And like this from the other side. I'm trying to find a better photo of this.
There's all the people in it.
Hold on a second.
You're almost looking at a movie, like you're looking at a movie screen.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, here I found a good picture. Here you can see it, and it looks like they did it on both sides. Actually, they're starting to build something over here. But look at that, sticking all. But look,
that's wild.
Like, stupid. But what are you gonna do? You already built the thing. 1985, Lebanese political and military organization Hezbollah founded. Well. Hezbollah. Yeah. So, wait, isn't Hezbollah the Israel Secret Service?
Hezbollah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hezbollah was a disease of some sort.
No, that's Ebola.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Hezbollah.
Hezbollah.
Okay. Hezbollah. Okay, that's what's wrong.
Okay. 1986, 28th Daytona 500. Geoff Bodine won on fuel mileage after Dale Earnhardt was forced to pit for gas with 3 laps to go, then blew engine leaving the pits. Oh, what a heartbreak right there. 86, Mario Soares from the Socialist Party was elected the first civilian president of Portugal. Very unintelligent move, because she's socialist. 1988, first documented combat action by U.S. military advisors in El Salvador. 1989, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, and North Yemen formed the Common Market. All right, you need to trade. 1992, 34th Daytona 500, Davey Alliston joined father Bobby as a race winner. Richard Petty and AJ Foyt's final drives in the event. 92 now, Ethiopia found the remains of former Emperor Haile Selassie on the grounds of the Imperial Palace under the private lavatory of dictator Mengistu Haile Mariam, who overthrew the emperor. So he killed him and he buried him beneath the toilet. Wow. Holy crap. No, and this guy is the guy who got killed. His body was found under the toilet. 92 as well, former silver Goodyear blimps were now painted yellow and blue. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The LA Lakers retired Magic Johnson's number 32 uniform. All right. 93, Western Australia is Australia's first woman premier. Carmen Lawrence was voted out of office. And I just want to, I'm not trying to push anything here, but I just want to say, the past 20, 30 years, with all of this first woman CEO, first woman here, first woman world leader there, all that stuff, and just like clockwork, they're all failing.
They're say she failed.
Well, no, she got voted out.
Voted out is one thing. Failing is another.
Well, you don't vote out somebody who's succeeding.
Well.
But what I'm saying is, the track record they're leaving.
Yeah.
The track record they're leaving. For all of the momentum that women's rights and suffrage and all that stuff. In some cases, they're putting their own foot in their mouth. They're just. For
every fail, there's one that's really been exemplary.
But what I'm saying is, they're giving not credence, but they're giving ammo to people who hate women to be like, oh, we don't want a woman prime minister. Look at what the last 3 did.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's more successes than failures. Look at the
Margaret Thatcher.
of In and Out. I mean, she has done a fantastic job keeping a family business that size together. So I mean, there's plenty of women like that.
I'm not saying there's not, but I'm just saying, they're probably going a little too fast because, I don't know. They were making mistakes. 1994, 6.5 earthquake struck southeast Sumatra, killing 200 people. 1998, Telabs Inc. acquired Coherent Communication Systems for $670 million. In 98, China Airlines Flight 676 crashed into a road in a residential area near, Chiang Kai-shek International Airport in Taiwan, killing all 196 people on board and 7 more on the ground. Yikes.
Near the airport, though.
Yeah, near the airport. So, 99, Kurdish rebels took over Greek and Kenyan embassies across Europe and held hostages after the two countries helped Turkey arrest one of their rebel leaders, Abdullah Öcalan. You're never safe in a whole world society. There is no such thing as safety. 99, O.J. Simpson's 1968 Heisman Trophy was sold for $230,000 to help settle a $33.5 million civil judgment against Simpson for the deaths of his ex-wife and her friend. Well, a drop in a bucket is a drop in a bucket. Yeah. So, not even $250,000 for a $33.5 million. He's not even touching the 0.5.
No,
barely
they were
cutting that in
him
half.
His entire life.
Yeah.
Anything they were relentless after him.
Well, he's a murderer. They should be.
Good for him. Good for the family.
Yeah. In the year 2000, Emory Worldwide Airlines Flight 17 crashed near Sacramento Mather Airport in Rancho Cordova, California, killing all 3 on board. Why did I read that? It's not even marked. 2001, Matthew Snyder of the Los Angeles Kings became the first defenseman in history to score a goal against all 30 NHL teams as LA beat Minnesota 4-0. Damn. Mm-hmm. 2004, the Pittsburgh Penguins lost their 12th consecutive home game, an NHL record. Not really a record you want. 2005, the 2004-2005 NHL season was canceled by Commissioner Gary Bettman, the first time a North American professional sports league had called off a season due to a labor dispute. We also have the Kyoto Protocol came into force following its ratification by Russia, committing industrialized nations to limit and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. 2005 as well, the UK version of The Apprentice with British business magnate Alan Sugar premiered on the BBC. What do you want to bet he got fired? I wonder, if Trump still does that, to his cabinet, whenever he lets people go, you're fired. If he does that, as his own little joke,
yeah.
I would love to do that if I was him, but that's my humor.
Yeah.
But as president, I wonder if he does that.
He's got a real sense of humor. So
yeah.
I don't know. He may do something like that. Who knows?
That'd be hilarious. 2006, the last mobile Army surgical hospital, MASH, was decommissioned by the United States Army. Yeah. 2013, Anthony Carmona was elected president of Trinidad and Tobago. So that's interesting. How can you have a president for 2 countries like that? 2014, U.S. Stadian Bob Miller, at the age of 36, or Bode Miller, became the oldest medalist in Olympic alpine skiing history when he tied for bronze in the Super G in Sochi. All right.
How old was he?
I said 36.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. 2016, China announced it will relocate 9,000 people in Guizhou province before completion of the world's largest telescope, FAST, designed to look for extraterrestrial life. Yeah. 2016, former French President Nicolas Sarkozy was placed under investigation for campaign funds. 2018, more than 100,000, orangutans. 2017. They put a comma here, so it's either 10,000 or 100,000. So orangutans killed in Borneo since 1999, according to a study published in Current Biology, but that could just be more liberal propaganda. Oh my God, the orangutans! We have to protect the orangutans.
But you wonder why they were killed.
Well, poachers, hides.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. What's valuable of orangutan? That's weird.
I don't know. And that's also what I'm saying. Maybe they're making it all up so they can push more bullshit. 2018, national state of emergency declared in Ethiopia in the wake of anti-government protests. That would cause it. We also have Sochi 2014 Olympic downhill champion Matthias Meyer of Austria won the Super G gold medal at the Pyeongchang Winter Games. What is a Super G? And didn't we? No, we spoke about that before.
Super G is race, a skiing race.
Okay. 2019, India's new high-speed train, the Vande Bharat Express, broke down on its first return trip on Delhi to Varanasi routes. Wow. Oh, probably too much garbage on the tracks. There's this challenge online You know Google Maps, obviously.
Yes.
And you know Street View, right? You know, you
yes,
can click the
yes,
little
yes,
yellow guy.
yes.
If you can go to literally anywhere in India, just go anywhere in India, and just, you know, to the most, like, you know, like, from the most, like, densely populated to the most, like, you know, like the best cities, the worst areas, the most, you know, like, out there, you know, regions. Literally anywhere there's a street view in India, there's garbage on the ground.
Oh.
It is, and I'm not saying anything about India. Like, in fact, you know, I feel sorry for them. They are, unfortunately, garbage on the ground. They're a trash country. They need to pick up all the trash. You know,
Yeah.
like, they can do better.
Well, India, they say, is the most likely
Next U.S. Yeah.
to, yeah.
As far as industrial might,
away, they will
yeah.
be the next superpower country.
Yeah, as far as industrial might, they will not be.
Not China, but
yeah.
India.
Yeah, but they will certainly not be as caring about anything as we are.
You never know.
They pollute to hell and gone. The only people who pollute worse is China. So, 2019 as well, needing 78 for an unlikely victory. Sri Lanka's Kusal Perera 153 no and Vishwa Fernando 6 no. Put on record 10th wicket stand for a 1-wicket win versus South Africa on the first cricket test in Durban. Whatever the hell that means.
That's a wicked wicket.
Yeah. The Wicked Witch of the West? Huh. 2019, Pope Francis defrocked ex-cardinal and Archbishop of Washington, Theodore McCarrick, for sexually abusing minors and adults. First cardinal to be removed for sexual abuse. Good. You know, should have been executed, though. 2020, the ghost ship cargo vessel MV Alta washed up on the Irish coast near Ballycotton by Storm Dennis after drifting across the Atlantic from Bermuda. So there have been examples of people abandoning ship when there's squalls, really rough seas, or when there's a rough wave or something, and the ship somehow survives. And right now, as we speak, there's a handful of ships out there with nobody on it, just drifting. You know, because they thought it was going to go over. Yeah, ghost ships. Not, you know, ghost ships, but right. Ships, you know. Yeah, but there are both. You know, there are ghost ships, like, you know, the Flying Dutchman. You know, I believe that's a thing out there. So, 2020, U.S. evacuated 400 citizens from Kung Flu-infected cruise ship Diamond Princess, quarantined in Yokohama Port, Japan. I remember when all that was happening. 2021, Athens and part of Greece covered in unusually heavy snowfall. All right. 2021 as well, U.S. winter storm continued with Dallas recording its lowest temperature in 70 years, -2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
That's cold.
For Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas, really Texas. 2021 as well, 5,000 people gathered in the town of Kereta Beja province to mark the 2-year anniversary of the Hirak protest movement. However, due to the Kung Flu pandemic, demonstrations were suspended in Algeria. Well, you know, you don't want people getting together if you're trying to separate them. During, 2023, why does it say World War II? U.S. Naval History and Heritage Command confirmed the identity of the wreck of the USS Albacore, a submarine lost in 1944, discovered by University of Tokyo sonar team in 2022 off the coast of Hokkaido, Japan.
That's why it says World War II.
All right, yeah. 2024, Alabama Supreme Court ruled frozen embryos can be considered children as part of a wrongful death case where frozen embryos were accidentally destroyed in a clinic. I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, you know, you started the process. If it's an embryo, that it's inseminated. It may not be conscious, but life has started. So, you know, it might not have a soul, but it's a vessel for one. And it should be treated as if it does have one regardless. 2024, Donald Trump and Trump Organization ordered to pay $354 million in fines in New York civil fraud case, one of the largest corporate sanctions in New York history. We have two more here. We have the 67th Daytona 500. William Bryan became the first back-to-back winner since Denny Hamlin in 2019 to 2020, after escaping the chaos that knocked out the bulk of contenders in 2 late race accidents. And Saturday Night Live celebrated 50 years with a special show at SNL 50 anniversary special with celebrity guests and returning cast members. Whoop-de-doo, but, you know, 50 years ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
Even if they're garbage and, you know, stupid. Anyway, that shall conclude the show for today. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things on the Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion. You saw all the stuff we skipped over in this document here, and that's just from 2 sources. It is up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness and a yearn to learn, to see outside what you think you know, to grow and to find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from your own and find a better way to be better to one another. For your dose of past events daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Please check the underbar for all of you and all of us. I'm A.O. Xander.
Golden Moon.
And UVRU. Thank you very much for coming in and watching us. Until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is. Be it live or recorded. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! And I want to have a shout out to Creative, who's probably watching this, and in stream. Want to say bye?
Yeah, see ya.